First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth, going into diverse places, into places that is very dangerous to proclaim this truth on the streets. So what we got here is another event taking place. Well, we know that Donald Trump has restored the so-called peace talks, right? But we know that by peace he shall destroy many. Thus, talking about Esau, the so-called white man. So, peaceably, North Korea has agreed to the talks and has already begun destroying its nuclear testing sites, you know, and they have video for this. I don't have that video, but you can see very much so that they're destroying their sites. The first video of the demolition of North Korea's nuclear testing site, Punji-ri, shows tunnels in the mountainsides being buried in rubble. The site was destroyed ahead of planning summit in Singapore, now canceled by the United States. The 3 tunnels at the site were demolished along with the accompanying structures, according to RT correspondent invited to witness the event. So, basically, what's happening is they're destroying their weapons, which means that, Donald Trump can continue what he originally planned, was a Muammar Gaddafi style. In fact, I got a video on this from Jason O'Crane. Hold on a second.
End up like Libya if Kim Jong-un... U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has warned that North Korea could end up like Libya if Kim Jong-un does not cooperate with the United States and give up nuclear weapons.
By giving them up, we know that what's going to happen, though.
Bolton said that he was looking to have a kind of Libya model, a form of regime change that could be possibly used against the DPRK if they did not willingly give up their nuclear weapons. Now, of course, what Bolton was referring to was essentially the proxy invasion and the bombing of Libya that took it from the wealthiest country in Africa to quite possibly the poorest. A move that killed, as it is, over 30,000 people during the violence and brought back slavery to the country. Speaking to Fox News on Monday, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence says, you know, there was some talk of the Libyan model last week, and as the president made clear, this will only end like the Libyan model ended if Kim Jong-un does not make a deal. It would be a great mistake for Kim Jong-un to think he could play Donald Trump. But we hope for better. We really hope that Kim Jong-un will seize the opportunity to dismantle his nuclear weapons program and do so by peaceable means.
And by peace he shall destroy many. And here's the other point made by Jason that want to keep.
By peaceable means. And essentially, this is what I've been saying right from the beginning, that this has nothing to do with promoting peace on the Korean Peninsula. This has been about disarming the DPRK from its nuclear weapons in order to be able to bully it, in order to be able to threaten it with invasion. The use of nuclear weapons as a deterrent has been incredibly successful for maintaining the independence of the DPRK. And this is what the United States is essentially afraid of. They are afraid of anyone demonstrating any ability to stand up for themselves against their imperialism. Now, there has been great strides towards peace that have occurred between the South and the North, recently which got canceled because of the hostile talk by the United States government, because of the war games that were scheduled inside of the country. Now, a recent poll does show that the majority of South Koreans do blame the United States for the recent breakdown in peace talks.
And that's exactly it. Esau never wanted peace. Let's go to the next. And, of course, bullshit alert. Here's another false flag report. As we know that all these things are staged for a purpose. We know that this is a Mossad operation, and most likely not even real, but they want you to believe it's real, right? 2 men blow up IED inside Indian restaurant in Canada, multiple injuries. Okay, so let's see. India is usually to describe Elam. Let's see if it is in this case, because didn't we get the mislabel of being called Indians? I think so. Thus, I'm talking about the tribe of Gad. Police have released a photo of two suspects who detonated an explosive device in a restaurant in Mississauga, a city in the Canadian province of Ontario. At least 15 people have been injured. I suspect bullshit. Police say they received a call for an incident at 10:32 a.m. and have coordinated off the area. Local media report, or local bullshit. There has been an explosion at an Indian restaurant in the central area of the city. So, yeah, man, this to me looks like bullshit, and I'll just call bullshit. Yeah, exactly. So, Elam, they actually got it right. So, that's where the term Indian come from. Has nothing to do with Tribe of Gad. Again, I'm just looking at this shit. If it's plastered all over the news, if you believe it's bullshit, it most likely is. Alright, here's another one. Remember this false flag? Russian held responsible for downing MH17 by Australia and Netherlands. Moscow questions probe. Which, we know what MH17 was. Of course, we know that what the Israeli state was planning to do, which I know that they took down these videos, but I remember this one. The Israeli state had taken the plane and had moved it out pretty much, and then replaced it with another plane and shot it down, pretty much. Thus, and so they wanted to blame Russia for it, and this had to do with the disputes over the Ukraine territory, because of course Russia had, the Crimea area had said, look, we'd rather be under Russian rule and protected by Russia than these goddamn Amalekites, pretty much, which was the whole overthrow of the Ukraine government. So Israeli state Amalek decided to go ahead and create this false flag narrative. And you can see it very much so, because who runs the media? Israeli state. The Netherlands and Australia declared Russia responsible for deployment on a missile system that downed Flight MH17. And I told you Israeli state shut it down over eastern Ukraine in 2014. Yes, because, of course, Crimea had defected to the United States. And so we know the United States is trying to bully the world into attacking Iran, if you see that on the side there. Not a single anti-aircraft system of the Russian armed forces has ever crossed the Russian-Ukrainian border, the defense ministry said in a statement. Yeah, because we know that this is all bullshit. Now I'm going to show you footage of the lava. Yeah, pray for our Hawaii camp, because the lava's hitting the streets and is also in the ocean. So let's take a look here. I think this is a press TV report, and I also got more footage. So I'm run two videos here. Hold on. Okay, and I got more.
A third lava flow from Kilauea volcano streamed into the ocean, as U.S. Marine Corps helicopters stood by to evacuate a Big Island community, should molten rock or huge cracks block its final escape route. 6 huge fissures sent rivers of molten rock through a blackened, volcanic wilderness that was once jungle, farmland and rural homes. Kilauea, one of the world's most active volcanoes, entered the 4th week of what may be an unprecedented, simultaneous eruption at its summit crater and along a 6-mile string of fissures. The recent volcano erupted at its summit, sending ash 10,000 feet into the air. The wind may carry ash to the southwest toward the Pahalan area. At least 50 homes and other structures have been destroyed by lava from fissures in a small area of the Big Island. Some 2,000 people have faced mandatory evacuations, and another 2,000 in coastal communities may be forced to leave their homes if State Highway 130, their last exit, becomes blocked. A blocked highway would cut people off from the only route to grocery stores, schools and hospitals.
So, you're just taking a look at this, and hey, our, camp, we have a camp on the main island in Hawaii, so, that's why I always say pray for them. And that camp is on fire, totally on fire for Yahweh Shai and this ministry. So, pretty much, again, we'll take a look at some other videos here. Hold on. And this is people protesting. They want sanctions against the Israeli state, Amalek, for all the murdering that they're doing in Palestine. The EU, the beast, believes there should be sanctions against the Israeli state, Amalek. And so this is what's happening there. They're sick of the of pretty much the whore, Babylon the Great, the little horn, which is consistent of both Israeli state and which.
We've reached a point that if we don't do this now, we don't know where this will go. Like my colleague Fadi, we think the EU has not risen to the level that we want them to see. We want the EU to lead, especially in a time when the US is withdrawing from really pursuing peace. We need Europe to stand up for its values and to even put sanctions on Israel as our last hope and as our last resort to say enough is enough. The killings need to end.
So, yeah, they're demanding sanctions against the superpower, United States and Israeli state. Isn't that a change? Because isn't piece of shit America and Israeli state putting sanctions against Iran? So you can see what's happening here. This is why they hate the whore. All right, I got another video here.
The operation was the latest attempt to counter what Washington sees as Beijing's efforts to limit freedom of navigation in the strategic waters. While that operation had been planned months in advance, and similar operations have become routine, it comes at a particularly sensitive time and just days after the Pentagon uninvited China from a major U.S.-hosted naval drill. U.S. officials, speaking to the Reuters news agency on condition of anonymity, said the Higgins-guided missile destroyer and the Antietam, a guided missile cruiser, came within 12 nautical miles of the Paracel Islands, among a string of islets, reefs and shoals known as the South China Islands, over which China has ongoing territorial disputes with its neighbors. The ships carried out maneuvering operations near Tree, Lincoln, Dryden, and Woody Islands in the Paracels, one of the officials said. Mr. Trump's cancellation of a summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has placed further strain on U.S.-China relations amid a trade dispute between the world's two largest economies. Critics of the operations, known as a freedom of navigation, have said that they have little impact on Chinese behavior and are largely symbolic. The U.S. military has a long-standing position that its operations are carried out throughout the world, including in areas claimed by allies, and that they are separate from political considerations. Satellite photographs taken on May 12 showed China appeared to have deployed truck-mounted surface-to-air missiles or anti-ship cruise missiles at Woody Island. Earlier this month, China's Air Force landed bombers on disputed islands and reefs in the South China Sea as part of a training exercise in the region, triggering concern from Vietnam and the Philippines. The U.S. military did not directly comment on Sunday's operation, but said U.S. forces operate in the region on a daily basis. U.S. Pacific Fleet said in a statement, "We conduct routine and regular freedom of navigation operations, FONOPs." Neither China's foreign nor defense ministries immediately responded to a request for comment. Pentagon officials have long complained that China has not been candid enough about its rapid military buildup and using South China Sea islands to gather.
So, here we go. America starting shit all over the world, and it is the Most High himself that is causing Pharaoh to harden his heart, causing the kings of the earth to hate the whore, and causing the whore to fuck off all the nations. We know Donald Trump is that man. Sorry, I don't have more scriptures, but this is all prophetic. The whore, Babylon the Great, will be destroyed in 1 hour. Shalom.